What's up, good people? What's up, good people? We are back. We are live. Shout out to everybody in the building. You already know the routine. Hit the like button whether you're catching it live or you're catching it after it's uploaded. You already know what to do. You already know what time it is. Let's get ready to let's get ready to go with this one. It was funny. Last night, quick story before I roll the intro. I was driving in my car and I saw a thumbnail pop up. It said Brittany Renner versus Miss Pearly Things. I thought it was a joke, but no, it was actually real. She was on the show. The show was weird. This was my first time watching one of Pearly Things' show from beginning to end, and it was weird. It was weird. A great show, but it was the other chicks on there that just had it weird. But we're going to get into all of that. But it was it was interesting. It was interesting. The backstory is not even necessary. Know who Brittany Renner is. She became more under the microscope of this space when she had a discussion with Kevin Samuels, and since then she had a little run-in with Fresh and Fit and the whole works and everything like that. So we've had eyes on her. And so it's interesting. So now she's de facto back on the, I don't know if to say the outside or peripheral of this space or with Pearly Things. I don't even know what to count it, how to count it, what to call it. But it's interesting. It's interesting that she was on Pearly Things, had a discussion. It was actually Andrew Tate was actually involved, even though he wasn't directly in this discussion. But I think she's going to be releasing the Andrew Tate portion of it, where her, Andrew Tate, and with Pearly Things, Andrew Tate and Brittany Renner was all on the same show together. But enough of the pre-intro ramble. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What is up? What's going on, good people? Welcome to the show. We are back in here live in effect. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to the early bird squad. Those making them bright and early before we even get things started. Shout out to the Mac the Trucker. He said the Manosphere champion. That's a strong word. Manosphere champion. Really? I don't know about that one. But okay. Manosphere champion in a real life hoe. This is going to be interesting. It was interesting. I'll go ahead and keep it real. It wasn't as eventful as you would think. I put it in the title that she's still delusional, but she wasn't aggressively delusional in this one. It was other chicks. It was another chick on the panel that was pretty, not on the panel, but on the set, that was pretty aggressively delusional. And I skipped past a lot of their stuff because it was a lot. Man, listen, I'm not going to torture y'all. I think when MTR covered this, he covered it without watching it. The first 25, 30 minutes, you didn't even hear no interaction or back and forth between Pearl or Brittany, because that's what people really want to see, because they're two people who, big in this in the social media space with opposing ideologies. It's interesting to hear them, you know, have a back and forth exchange to the degree and extent that they did. That's interesting, but a lot of it was just a bunch of chicks just nails scratching on the wall, cat fighting. I'm skipping all of that. I'm skipping all of that. But shout out to Mike and Vince Perkins. Just hung out with that brother last night. Him, Christian, and I'm slipping. I'm so bad with remembering names, so I'm not even going to try to start naming, because I'm going to botch names. But shout out to Mike, and shout out to Christian. But anyway, RM in the bin. I apologize. You know who I'm apologizing to. I don't even want. I'm having a brain fart trying to remember her name. But shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to No Country for Old Simps. Shout out to Beat Up Boogie. Shout out to Anthony Reed in the building. Says good morning, Bernard. Shout out to Deadly Raver, the Mac the Trucker, laughing at that. That's funny. Yeah, that you call her Manosphere champion. That's kind of a weird thing to call her. Anyway, Deadly Raver in the building says I couldn't find the 3 or presents to add to my post. Oh, okay. I couldn't find. Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't find the tree or the present to add to my post, but still, Merry Christmas right back at you. Right on. I see what you're saying there. Shout out to my father's son, and we almost at the bottom of it. Snazzy individual in the building. So I saw a few parts of that vid. You probably wouldn't believe what I would say until you see it for yourself. So let's watch Bernard roll that anything other than beautiful bean footage. Yeah, it wasn't. It was. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. The Mac the Trucker, don't fall for that. You saying she is? Don't fall for that shit where people want to try to just hit the manosphere with any stick that they can. If some chick build an amazing platform and she hit that algorithm running and making shorts on top of shorts that's getting millions of views outside of this space, I'll be it using the talking points, rhetoric, thoughts, ideas, perspectives, and views of people all around this space, black manosphere, white manosphere, or whatever. It doesn't make her a manosphere champion. It just means that she worked the YouTube game properly. Her channel, when you got 800K subs, your channel is bigger than manosphere. Your channel is just the general YouTube. Your audience is the general YouTube audience. Don't fall into the don't step in the trap, especially don't step in the trap that the pro blacks did. Said, y'all just elevated a white woman. I was like, I didn't find out about her until she had 500,000 subs. Yeah. He said, salute to Angerman with the shorts. No doubt. Angerman killing it with the shorts. I'm halfway killing it with the shorts. I'm just not as consistent with them. But I've had 3 of them go major, like super duper viral. Like up in the millions of views. That's why I got 25,000 subs now. Well, I got one of them that got 1.4 million views. Another one that might tap a million. Another one that looked like it's finally slowing down at about 800,000 something. Yeah, it's a real thing. You hit them shorts, you get in the algorithm. Now the trick is once you get all them new subs from the shorts, those people that watch the shorts don't necessarily watch live stream shows or even pre-recorded. Some people just treat YouTube like TikTok, and they just like to scroll on the shorts. So it is a trick to try to convert them over to watching your other content. It is a trick to do that, and I got to try to figure that one out. That's probably be the next step. Bang out a bunch of shorts, get the subs up, then figure out a way to try to cycle them over here. That's the game plan. But enough of that. About enough of that. But yeah, shout out to Angry Man. I haven't even looked lately. He probably had 100. He probably had 150K by now. It was 140K, 140K the last time I looked. So shout out to Angry Man. He's definitely killing it. Definitely killing it. But we're about to go ahead and get right on into this. Just a few more quick things before we dive right.
Up, guys.
This. Wait, hold on.
Had our 100th.
I didn't mean to have her talking just yet. Yeah, see, even RM in on it. Says you got 3.5K off a 1-minute short video made by someone else. Yeah, those shorts will do it for you. Them shorts will do it for you. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. But yeah, one of the ones I got going viral right now. Most of it was a clip from somebody else, and I just talked a little bit at the end. But yeah. Possibly. All right, let me go ahead and get into this. Just one thing. I know I've been covering the Tory Lanez trial and the whole works with that. That is getting interesting. I'll probably have some more content coming down the pipeline with that. It's new updates every day with that. So we're gonna be getting into that. We're gonna be getting into that, but not on this show. But I did drop a pre-record this morning when I finally got a chance to drop the thing when that crazy the comedian chick Yamanika went off. I made a pretty damn good okay, AM hit 166K. Yeah, I told y'all he about to roll right to 200K. Yeah, made a pretty good pre-record on that. And so yeah, on the that Yamanika chick, she was going off and she was snapping in that argument with that simp Pierre. He's a simp for other reasons. I didn't even watch the whole thing he said there. But anyway, let's get into this. Yeah, so y'all heard it. Brittany Renner, as you can see right there, was on Pearly Things. As you can see right there, she was on Pearly Things. The dark-skinned chick on the left was actually the craziest chick on the show. Brittany Renner came off pretty damn tame. Compared to the to that chick. And but we about to get into that. We about to get into all of that. But I'm bringing it to a certain point because I am going to skip the beginning of the show where it just was ridiculous, where it was just utter chaos and anarchy. It was utter chaos and anarchy. I got to skip all of that and just get right into the more so the parts where Brittany Renner and Pearly Things had some interaction with each other. But before I get into that, shout out to SKC. Says Bernard has a Hugh White. What is that? A Hugh White woman on the screen? Nah, just saying what's up. Been hella busy. Okay, back to cooning. Right on. Keep the coon train. Gotta keep the coon train charging forward. Got to keep the coon train charging forward. I understand. But no, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. I was just thinking about you. I was just thinking to myself, hell, this morning, I think it was. I was like, I ain't seen SKC in my chat in a while. Because I watched a little bit of Pablo, and I think you was on his panel. And I think I heard your voice. And I was like, damn, I ain't seen SKC in a good little while. Oh, RM just explained to me in the back that you pronounce it like an exhale, like a I don't know how to speak coon. White woman, a white woman. I don't know. White woman. I don't know. But all right. Enough pre-show ramble. Letting people get in here before I get to rolling it. But all right. We got 139 here. That's more than enough to get going. But all right. Let's go ahead and get at it.
Who he actually is and what his energy is actually saying, because I understand the same way that people say, oh, you clickbaited, you edited this way to make me look worse, it's the same way that it happens to him. And realistically, he was way more balanced and actually a lot more kind of calming in his presence than what it actually seems online. I'm not gonna lie. He spoke sense. There was a lot of balance in what he said.
Oh,
And
right now what they're doing, they're talking about Andrew Tate because Andrew Tate was like there with them, and then she I guess she's gonna break that part up and get paid a lot of times off of it, which is the right thing, which is a smart thing to do. But Andrew Tate was right there with them, and I think Brittany Renner had asked a question like, "What are your thoughts or impressions of Andrew Tate?" And they all seemed like they. I mean, I don't want to just. They were talking like they were kind of moist, you know. That was just a general take that I got from it. You know, they was like he was really nice, and he smiled a lot more than I thought he would, and they were just doing, you know, they was talking. They sound real dreamy, eyed talking about their experience or discussion or whatever with Andrew Tate. That's just one thing. But I skipped that part because I didn't really care. But it was a little funny. It was a little funny.
you know, I know people were expecting me to clash with him, and I didn't. He was cool. I liked him. It was funny. He had a bit of banter as well with his clementines and stuff. I
think the only thing I didn't agree with was like him talking about a man will cheat, like women are delusional. Like, I think that's not a good message.
If
If they have the opportunity to, they will. If they have like the
It's
leeway
okay.
or
I'll
the-
give you an example. Even a good man would have a hard time being in Tiger Woods' positions. Having a bus full of models waiting for him that are trying to fuck him every single day. It's like even a good, like my dad, I'll give you, he's top 1%, doesn't cheat. But
You don't know that. But anyway, Pearly Things is pretty good though. This is my first time watching one of her live streams all the way through. She is pretty good and pretty efficient at, like what I say about Myron, how his true talent is that he's just like a database where no matter what the argument is, he just boom, boom, boom. He just spit the right counter argument out instantly. She kind of has that thing going too. Like a little facsimile database. She speaks fluent manosphere. She does. I guess she does.
dad doesn't have social media and he doesn't have beautiful models waiting for him every day after work. I think that would be hard for even a good man to say no to. Like even my dad, if he was in a position where beautiful women are trying to do that every single day, that's hard. That's really hard for a guy.
Women get approached as well. In fact, women get approached way more than men.
True. But it's not usually. It's
now what's going to happen is the chick to the left, the dark skinned chick. She's going to play that game where she tries to equalize or equate men to women or try to make it seem like it's exactly the same, like a man, you know, building himself up and becoming that accomplished and becoming a top 1% of a 1%er and being famous with it, as if his temptation to cheat. I shouldn't even call it temptation to cheat at that. If you that dude, it ain't even. I ain't even gonna call it temptation. It is the fact of reality that he's going to have sex with multiple women. She's going to try to make it seem like it's some equivalence going on with a woman in the fact that, you know, guys are coming at her or guys are hitting on her, and she doesn't cheat, allegedly. But you know, so she's going to try to equalize the two. She's going to try to do that thing that Pearly did a good job. Did a good job breaking it. I'm laughing because the Mac the Trucker understand where I'm coming from when he said she's a manosphere glossary. She is. Myron is too. That's their talent when you can just spit the information out. Now I still will say that she wasn't a facsimile manosphere glossary when she was with Hafiz crazy all over the place, as doing his shirt buttoned up to the middle of his chest, bad impression of like blue pill Andrew Tate when he was trying to do his blue pill Andrew Tate impression or whatever the hell was going on there. I don't think she did as good. She was like a deer in the headlights, didn't know what to expect. Like, cause he was so all over the place. She just was like, huh? It's like she seemed completely uncomfortable. She seemed completely uncomfortable that whole discussion. But this is my first time actually watching one of her shows all the way through. She's actually pretty good. She speaks fluent manosphere. Shout out to Destroyer of Simps. That's all. I like that. Props to Pearly. She's a student of Kevin Samuels and has really ingrained the manosphere philosophy. She deserves her success. She's put in the work to learn. Yeah, no, she's put in the work. She's put in the work. She's no doubt put in the work. But all right, let's roll it.
It's not usually by men.
And thank you for that super chat, Destroyer Sims. Thank you for that super chat. Do appreciate that. And thank you very much. Also, SKC. Thank you, everybody. Support the stream. Let's go.
And you want I would also argue that it would be hard for a woman to stay faithful if every day she was approached by high value men.
That's true.
So like you've been in that position. It's if every day you're getting messages from like the top men in society, I think that's hard for women to turn down. We're hypergamous.
Now, what was off camera right there that y'all couldn't catch? The cameraman should have been a little quicker with the trigger when Pearly Things said it would be women would be in the equivalent type of situation if they were in a position where they were getting hit on by high value, high earning, top of the food chain of men. If they were just getting hit on by them regularly, like by the busload, it would be hard for them to not cheat. And she looked at Brittany Renner and said, "You've been in that situation." And Brittany Renner was like very agreeable with that. Now, that normally wouldn't be a problem. That normally wouldn't even be an issue or nothing that even stands out or even jumps out at all. The only reason it is because if you go back to her discussion with Cam Newton, you go back to her discussion with anybody on this, to hell, I think even with her discussion with Fresh and Fit, really Myron, because Fresh just be chilling. Even though I will give Fresh his props, he did do a one-on-one discussion or interview, with a chick, and Myron. That was my first time hearing him talking to a chick one-on-one without Myron there, and it was like a little back and forth debate. And he did good. He's gotten better. Fresh has gotten better. I gotta give credit where credit's due. Fresh did decent in that discussion. But the point that I'm making here is that she be going in. Brittany Renner be going in. It's like she makes that argument that just because her baby daddy was in the NBA, why does that mean that I should accept cheating, or why does that mean that he just can't keep his dick in his pants just because he's in the NBA? That's her argument. But it was off camera, and y'all missed it how agreeable she was when Pearly Things pointed out that having just a litany, a plethora of high value, high earning, top of the ranking scale of men just coming at you all day, that's when women get in that position where it's impossible for them to stay faithful. And she agreed, which means that would put her in hypocrite territory when she's basically trying to. We've seen her try to gaslight plenty of men, even like you remember her discussion with Cam Newton, and she kind of came at him a little bit like, that is some bullshit that you're talking like you just can't resist the temptation to having multiple women. You're gonna hurt somebody, you're gonna break their heart, you're gonna do it. But she kind of admitted that even when she's with somebody, she's available to these to higher bidders. Essentially, she's essentially admitted that she's available to higher bidders. She's still fielding opportunities. So that was just exhibit. Exhibit. I don't even know what exhibit it is. 5,437A of them, contradicting themselves. But Pearly definitely set it up perfectly by saying that for a woman to understand the position that a successful man is in, she would just have to somehow be in a position where NBA players, she be with a regular dude and have NBA players just hitting on you regularly. That's how you create an equivalent scenario. That's how you create an equivalent scenario. Not just saying, "Oh, I get guys hit on me." Yeah, guys you don't want.
So it's not really about the quantity of men that approach you, it's the quality.
I think just morally, I think everybody knows that cheating is wrong. Like Tate even said it himself. When a woman cheats on a man, the pain that he feels, so they know it's wrong innately, but they think that they have that pass to do it because I'm a man, I'm a high value man. And it's like, do you know that pain that you felt? She feels that. I agree with you. I've been cheated on. It was really hard,
but at the end of the day, it's just not the same. Because like at the end of the day, like I could get past it because I was like, you know what, it was just a random, it wasn't like he wasn't in love with her. But like the way we would feel if a man was in love with someone else, that's how men feel about us cheating on them sexually. Like there's just
Do you think it's because there's just like how do I want to say this? Do you think it's because men are weaker in that department to where it's like, oh, I can't believe you had sex with guys before you even met me because that's my pussy. You know what I mean? Like
That's Brittany Renner talking, but y'all can't see it. The cameraman tripping. See, yeah, I don't know. I've been talking shit about it for a while, but if everything goes right next month, I'll be doing in studio guest type shit, like what she doing. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, I gotta have a cameraman who quick with the trigger. So when that person talking, get the camera off me, put it on that person. And I'm sitting there watching her cameraman, like, come on, cameraman, you're bullshitting. But anyway. But she's trying to lay out an argument to say that men are just weaker than women when it comes to that. And that's her trying to take a slight at men, but not understanding that no, it's just a goddamn difference. It's just a goddamn difference. But she's trying to say that it's a matter of men being weaker. That's the argument she's trying to put out.
I almost feel like it's because there's such a gap in where women really
saying you need more than one camera. I have 3 cameras, homie. I got 3 cameras. 3 cameras and 4 mics. I just only use I used to use all my cameras and used to be doing different camera angles, and I just said the hell with it. I ain't gonna break them all out until I get a whole in studio. Until I get the 4 mics set up and in studio guests. That's when I'm gonna break out all the cameras and really use everything to its full capacity. Stay tuned. I'm giving y'all the teaser trailer.
really are and where men are emotionally and mentally.
I just think it.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I've been cheated on. It was really hard. But at the end of the day, it's just not the same. Because like at the end of the day, like I could get past it because I was like, you know what, it was just a random, it wasn't like he wasn't in love with her. But like the way we would feel if a man was in love with someone else, that's how men feel about us cheating on them sexually. Like there's just
Do you think it's because there's just like how do I want to say this? Do you think it's because men are weaker in that department to where it's like, oh, I can't believe you had sex with guys before you even met me because that's my pussy. You know what I mean? Like I almost feel like it's because there's such a gap in where women really are and where men are emotionally and mentally.
I just think it's like we can't undo biology. Right. So like we can't undo the thousands of years of biology. And how did you pass on your genes to the next generation? For women, it was getting the best man that they possibly could, the strongest, tallest, biggest, highest status, because then your kid would survive. That meant he could protect you. He could pass on resources to you and your kid would be strong and would be able to protect itself. For like vice versa, for men, it was, I don't want to pass on resources to a kid that's not mine. So it was, I can't have a promiscuous woman because the kid might not be mine. My genes might not even my genes might not get passed on. So even though like we're in 2022 and we have like different things that offset this stuff, you can't undo our biology.
Mating success, I've said this plenty of times, mating success for a female is getting the highest quality male. Mating success for a male is mating and reproducing with the highest number of females as possible. That's what mating success is for a male, taking humans completely out of the equation, looking at it from purely an animalistic standpoint. That is what we are. That is how we are hardwired. It does not mean that society and culture being where it is right now, that we should just 100% lean on biology and lean right on nature. Because, society, culture, and customs and, social norms matter. Social norms matter, but we still should understand that it is an absolute 100% difference. It is an absolute 100% difference. And a lot of times what happens, and sometimes we're guilty of this. Sometimes men are guilty of this. I keep it real. I'll keep it real. Sometimes we are guilty of when it suits us, we lean hard on the biology, it's nature type of argument. Sometimes we do that. But I think I think where it's truly at with that is a happy medium, understanding society and culture. Now you can move as an individual and say, hey, I'm moving and operating outside it. I'm going to do what I do. And keep in mind, when I say reproducing with the highest number of women, highest number of females, I'm not talking about going bust nuts and chicks. I'm just, when you have sex, you're basically tricking your DNA. Your genes are telling you to go reproduce, and then you pull out or you put a condom on, but you've scratched the Darwinian itch within you, and your genes don't know the difference. So that's what I mean by that. and it's telling you to scratch that itch with as many as possible. It's telling you to scratch that itch with as many as possible. That's literally what it's doing. That's what we're hardwired to do. And so the fact of the matter is that yes, absolutely, it's a difference between male and female, and with men, it's going to hit harder, it's going to hit different. Just this simple old adage of mama's baby, daddy's maybe is the reason why it's going to hit different. And I would even go even further to argue that the physical act of sex is the reason why it hits different. If a man is entering that woman, she's on her back with her knees on her shoulders, like that's that's really where it's at. I mean, it's the physical act the physical act of sex is a big part of the reason why it hits different. I'll just go ahead and say that. The physiology and the biology of it all. But all right, let's roll some more.
But I also think it's accountability. I think, like Brittany was saying, Tate, you're literally like the male version of me, and you're praised and I'm shamed. I think
when Andrew Tate was on there, Brittany Renner said that said to Andrew Tate, you are the male version of her. I would love to hear her flesh that one out. I would love for her to explain how she's the female version of Andrew Tate. In what way? In what way? Like I really legit would love to hear her explain that one. I would love to hear her explain that one. Like when I tell you they overrate themselves to just such a high degree. She's a cage fighter. I'm looking in the chat room to see if anybody could explain or substantiate what she means by that. I really would like to know. Fair use.
it's because we are not holding these men accountable. Like you would say, you basically called Brittany a hoe before you met her. That is so unfair. And I think if
she want it to be equivalent where a man gets called a hoe. I remember a chick was on Fresh and Fit, and they was talking about a woman being ran through, but she was like, okay, but if a man is ran through, and I'm like, I don't think you understand how it works. The only man that could get ran through is a gay man. Damn, I wish I didn't put that thought in my head. But it's like they try to equalize the things. They try to equalize it. She's basically trying to say, hold the man accountable. Hold the man accountable. Look. I am fully aware. I am fully 100% aware that there's a certain percentage of men that are going to be at the top of that food chain, and they're going to have sex with lots of women, largely in part because lots of women want to have sex with them. That's one man. Put it like this: if one man is having sex with 100 women and you're telling him he's wrong for that, that's one man who's done something wrong. That's 100 women who've done something wrong. It's kind of weird to just go to that man at the top and like, you are the problem for giving all these women what they want and what they're standing in line for. It's plenty of guys who would love the shit out of these women and treat them right and do all the things that they said they want, but no, they'd rather be in that guy's rotation. But we need to hold him accountable. We need to hold this guy accountable. It's a weird thing that they do. It is a weird thing that they do. Knowing that she will be one of the ones getting in line, but saying this guy that she got in line for needs to be held accountable. Knowing that.
He started to say, no, Brittany, not just Brittany in that situation, not calling you a hoe or anything. Not in that situation, say, Tate's a hoe, Brittany's a hoe. Actually hold each other accountable.
But it's
not
just
the women.
and it's just.
Yeah, here's the thing. Tate could be a hoe, Brittany could be a hoe. And also the an average at best ugly bottom of the barrel chick could also be a hoe. Some average at best bottom of the barrel ugly dude can't be a hoe. There's a difference.
It's just, but here's the thing. Like on the other side, when you were what, 8? When was the first time you got messaged by someone with a blue check mark, or like any attention?
Probably when I was like 2021.
Okay, 2021. She got the world at her fingertips. Like just by being beautiful, right? She can get messaged from like the top men in society. It's not the same for men. When a man's 2021, no woman's checking for him. Maybe a very select few, but even if they're very good looking, like they're not getting shit from rich girls.
No, but what I'm saying is the men that are getting those women, like actually saying that it's not, because it's not right. At the end of the day, cheating is wrong. Men or women, biology or not, it's wrong. And I think if we actually start to say, you know what, this man has got 3 baby mamas, you're fucking ridiculous. You're playing with STDs.
And here's the.
Wait, hold on. You throw baby mamas in the equation, then that's agreeable and understandable. Dude shouldn't be reckless with his seed. You're moving the goalpost.
But the thing is, it's such a who's at fault when most 80% of women, 90% of women are sexually active, but only roughly 5 to 10% of guys can do what you're saying. So it's the women are more promiscuous than the men. It's like the problem you're talking about is so minuscule. It's so small. Like maybe 20% of men can.
I wouldn't say women are more promiscuous.
No,
the reason why men cheat still. Why do you keep cutting it off, though?
Women have more sexual partners now.
What do you do?
By default, they have to be more promiscuous. If you just simply look at the way that it works in any type of social environment that you've ever been in, whether it's the workplace, whether it's high school, whether it's college, no matter what it is, you know that there's a small percentage of guys at the top knocking down all the chicks. It just is what it is. That is a reality of the situation. It's a smaller percentage of guys that could truly be hoes. And I'm talking about and messing with the baddest to the mid-level chicks. They just knocking them all down, just running through them all. It's only a small percentage that could really do that. Now, some dudes that are not quite at the top, that somewhere, they probably in the 75 percentile, who they probably can go ham on the bottom of the barrel chicks and bang a few in the middle, and every now and then get lucky with a nice one. It's some that could pull that off. But the ones who really winning out there, small percentage.
I'm coming for you today. Now I'm your Auntie Jenny. Trust me. You swore at me. Disrespect.
Way too much
I do not accept disrespect.
Why are you doing
this?
So
Is why
much?
men will cheat, because somebody's talking to you and you're still cutting them off for no reason.
Pal, please continue.
So it doesn't even.
That was backstory. That was part of it I didn't play. Where this chick with a chick on the far left, she was rude as hell and cutting everybody off. She's gonna do it a little bit on the parts that I'm gonna play, but yeah, that was a throwback. Because she's talking about men cheating, but she demonstrated herself to be an absolute 100% unbearable and bitchy. she demonstrated herself to be the type of chick that no man would want to be around, but she's complaining about men doing what they're doing.
We need to be high value.
But do you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, like, okay, they're predicting that 45% of women will be single and childless. That's so much so that the big banks are predicting this. These women that are going to be single and childless and are on the path to that, it's not like they're not sexually active. They're probably sleeping with someone. There's not a plethora of virgins around that are women, but there is 1 in 3 men under 30 are virgins. So who's more promiscuous? If the women aren't virgins, the body counts are getting higher. And where on the other hand, men, it's a very small percentage that can actually get sex and father a bunch of kids. So that's why I say, like, I know Tate tries to, he's like, don't make it a he said, she said, but just by and large, it's more on the women because one, we're in control of sex. We pick who we sleep with and we're more sexually active than them.
In a sense, I agree because on average, yes, you're right. Women are having sex a lot more. However, when we're talking about promiscuity, men have 3 times more sexual partners than women. So men have, I think it's like 24, and
Where did
a woman
you see
is like
that?
10.
The last I checked
Google it right
like,
now.
yeah.
I made sure because I done my research before coming back. I was like, okay, I need to know.
So
Clarence is saying that with a question mark, only a small percentage of men can get sex. I would say when it comes to the type of sex that they're talking about, where it's completely casual and promiscuous and just sleeping around and just got a revolving door of them, yeah, I would say a relatively small percentage of men can truly have it like that. Most men, if you really break it down and look at men in the middle of the pack, yeah, they typically got to be in most of them are like you. They got to be in a relationship to get some sex. Clarence, like, cut your shit. You know what the hell we talking about? I don't even know why I'm entertaining you. Damn, did I get personal with Clarence? Yeah, my bad, CJ. I've done a couple one-on-ones with him. I know him a little bit. Come here and ask that damn question like you don't know what we talking about. Shout out to Edward Anderson, man. Hey, yeah, you've been missing in action. I thought the algorithm stopped sending your stuff to me. And I found out you wasn't posting anything. I heard you were sick. I heard your mother was sick. I don't know what's going on. I hope everybody is okay. You know, wishing you the best. But yeah, good to see you. Good to see you back around, by the way. Good to see you back around. He says, can't put that on me. Y'all the ones crying about women in groups. You're trying to depict it as we're crying about women in groups, but no, what's happening here and what happens on my show is I give social commentary and break down the things that are typically put out there on other media platforms when it comes to male-female interactions, where they normally give the female perspective, and that female perspective permeates through all the airwaves and gets in the mind of men and inceptions men, and have them becoming essentially what we call blue pill and having the wool over their eyes and being delusional to what's really going out there about women. So what I do is I pick apart and refute, debate, dispute, and debunk the bullshit that's put out there to give men a more clear picture of reality when it comes to dealing with women. Now, if you want to call that complaining and crying about women, go ahead and do that. You're just doing the same thing that women do when they try to derail the conversation, because they see that men are having a truthful conversation about the true actual picture of reality when it comes to the social dynamics between male and female. Only women come in here and say, yeah, I just crying about women. Well, women and male feminists. So you're not a woman, so it must be the latter. All right. I forgot where we was at in the video.
So if that's true, again, it goes back to the Pareto principle, right? So let's say the average number is higher for men. Typically, it's because the top 20%, we'll even say 30% of men, let's give them 30. Like they sleep with 50, 60, 100, 150 girls, but 1 out of 3 are virgins or haven't had sex in the past year. Historically.
Exactly. That's why I agree with what you're saying.
But that's why I'm saying, like, by and large, women are sleeping with a very small percentage of men.
But those
I gave that professional clap back like that because sometimes I have to actually state what it is that we typically do here, because people love to try to restate what it is in their own fantastical way. So sometimes I have to make sure that the chess pieces are properly are in proper placement. Sometimes I have to do that. Now you see that deflection right there. He says a man creates his own reality. I wasn't talking about an individual man creating his own reality. I was talking about what's put out there in the overall, the larger sphere of reality. It's the individual man can move how he wants to move and think how he wants to think and overcome whatever little obstacles, hurdles, or programming that is put out there in front of him. But if it's put out there on a mass scale, it's going to affect the masses. And if there isn't another view put out there, if there isn't a counter narrative put out there, the narrative of people who are doing what I think, putting a bunch of misinformation out there, that's going to be the narrative. That's going to be the overall reality that everybody is going to navigate through. So yes, I do want to play my small part in changing the paradigm. Yes.
How many
percentage are ruining it for the other men? So if they keep sleeping with so many women, they're ruining it for the ones that aren't getting laid. So actually, it's their fault.
You could.
Damn it! I didn't get thrown off by clearance. This chick said if they're sleeping with a large percentage of women, they're ruining it for those other guys who can't get laid. Yeah, that's kind of. Let me back up. Damn it! I don't got that that quick click thing that I normally able to do.
Let's give them 30. Like they sleep with 50, 60, 100, 150 girls, but 1 out of 3 are virgins or haven't had sex in the past year. Historically.
Exactly. That's why I agree with what you're saying.
But that's why I'm saying, like, by and large, women are sleeping with a very small percentage of men.
But those small percentage are ruining it for the other men. So if they keep sleeping with so many women.
Okay.
She's blaming everybody except for the women that keep sharing dicks. She's gonna blame everybody except for the women. He's gonna blame everybody except for the women. Like, if I see, I'm not even want to get into waving a magic wand. I understand the concept, like the way that it used to be in the time before time. Going back to the 50s when the marital rate was through the roof, like over 90%, it was practically 1-to-1. Yeah, some people cheated. It was a milkman that fathered a bunch of babies back then. We understand that, but it was basically 1-to-1. It was basically 1-to-1. So if it was 1-to-1 back then, who was it or what happened to that sort of deregulated that market where girls was raised by their fathers and their father handed off their daughter to who he thought was a suitable candidate, and then he took over payments on that woman, and then she was with him and they were together. It was the women who fought away from that burn bras in the streets, fought against all the social criticism, the free love movement. That was the original. Those were the original slut walks. They were, where they were fighting to not be judged or criticized for whatever they wanted to do sexually and everything. That was essentially the start of all that. What that resulted in is a completely unregulated sexual marketplace where women can just fuck what they want and fuck what they don't, and don't, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? That's what happened. That's what happened. And then now here we are in this unregulated marketplace all the way in 2020. And the end result of that, with women being free of social criticism and just can get it in with whoever they want, it ends up being a situation where you have one guy putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers and you got 30% of guys under 30 being virgins. Like, that's the data. and she's mad at that. She's mad at that 1%er of a dude who got it like that. She's mad at him, but she's not mad at the hundreds of women helping him put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. It's a goofy thing that's happening right there. It is a goofy thing that's happening right there. Now, from an idealistic standpoint, that yes, the 1-to-1 thing, I actually would like to see that. It would take, you got to, a lot of men would have to, a lot of men would have to give up, a lot of strange, a lot of new pussy, but overall society would run and function better if it was more of that 1-to-1 thing and there was actual families. And I from an idealistic standpoint, I would like to see that. But when I look at it from the standpoint that we are where we are right now, and men weren't burning bras in the streets to get things where they are right now. So it's like the wrong tree is being barked up. It's like you're seeing diminishing returns on the investment. You're seeing diminishing returns on the investment, or you're just mad because that top of the top guy that you can get some dick from, you're mad because you can't get him in a relationship to yourself, and now you're upset. So it didn't play out exactly like how they would have liked it to play out. They ended up, having multiple sexual partners and hopping from dick to dick and everything and so forth and so on, and they find themselves somewhere in their 30s and 40s, and they're trying to figure it out. Those were the chicks that was calling in the Kevin Samuels show late in the game trying to figure out how to get a high value provider male. That was those chicks. That was those chicks trying to figure out late in the game how to make it all work out. Shout out to Jackie Jack. It's a word in the middle between Jackie and Jack. I don't know why that's there. It's just weird. But shout out to Jackie Jack in the building with the $5 super chat. We don't acknowledge the name change over here. Sodomy and Chicken in the building says B-dubs like to share sausage, so that's on them. Yeah. Nick Taylor in the building. Make it make sense, Edward Anderson. I said the same thing 3 or so months ago. I got crickets. Let me get out the chat. But shout out to Sodomy and Chicken. One of the best names on YouTube. That's just funny as hell. But all right.
They're ruining it for the ones that aren't getting laid. Okay. So actually, it's that
you could argue that, but you could.
Guys,
she said they're
just checking. Is every?
Oh shit! I rewinded the whole damn thing. She said they're ruining it for the guys that aren't getting laid, but not the women who ain't fucking the guys that ain't getting laid. But the market is what the market is, and I don't spend too much time dwelling on that one. I just don't. But when they start saying bullshit, I will counter and rebut. But anyway, Jackie Loves Jack says, "Can you?" Oh shit! I slipped up and said it. Damn it! Says, "Can you put some respect on my name, sir?" I accidentally did. I completely, totally, accidentally did. I did not mean to do that. I vow to never say Jackie Loves Jack. And you got me. You got me. Damn it, you got me. All right.
Let's give them 30. Like they sleep with 50, 60, 100, 150 girls, but 1 out of 3 are virgins or haven't had sex in the past year. Historically.
Exactly. That's why I agree with what you're saying.
But that's why I'm saying, like, by and large, women are sleeping with a very small percentage of men.
But those small percentage are ruining it for the other men. If they keep sleeping with so many women, they're ruining it for the ones that aren't getting laid. So actually, it's their fault.
You could argue that, but you could also say it's more on the women because we're in control of sex. Most men, like if you went to a biological level, their biology is to sleep with whoever they can, right? Like most men, if you get right, but for the men, right, where we have to be more selective and sacred with who we give it to, right? Like we value sex more like emotionally than men do. And like most men, you get butt naked in front of them. What they're not doing that. And so it's like you're telling that small percentage of men, like, oh, don't do that. Okay, fine. But at the end of the day, I think it's more on women because there's more sexually promiscuous women than there are sexually promiscuous men. And it's men's mating strategy to do that. That's their biology. Where it's not in our biology to be promiscuous, but we're the ones doing it. But we have this like feminism, empowerment. You can do whatever you want and still be fine. Where it's like, I feel like as women, if like you should come back and say, you know what, wait for someone that loves you. You know, wait for this, wait for that.
I don't buy that. It's not. I won't say it's not completely in their biology to be promiscuous. Like they're hardwired to want to try to get the best possible mate, but that could be a revolving door. Whoever was the best possible mate today may not be the best possible mate tomorrow. You may get another offer, so you may get a better offer. So they're not necessarily hardwired for monogamy. They're not. So I reject that. I reject that premise.
That's just my opinion on it. I just think it's more on the women because there's more of us doing it than the men.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, I don't promote promiscuity, but I just think that there's just a double standard where like men are just seen as it is what it is. It's just biological. They should like sex more, but women enjoy sex. They do. Like, it's okay.
Would you know what the biggest problem I would say is? Really, 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 really and truly, is the fact that all of a sudden, for one reason or the other, everybody wants to talk about who they are having sex with and who they take to bed, to the point that you disclosing your sexual orientation is something that is even important. At the end of the day, listen, you may know that I'm not a virgin because I told you I was in a relationship for 5 years.
You're not?
Whatever I do. But wait.
Shut up.
I know.
All right, I don't even remember this part. I'm skipping ahead. Brittany Renner was quiet to a lot of this, but let me get to a little bit more to back and forth.
That one that you may want to be a mother. Then everything falls into place if that makes it an easier pill to swallow.
I do have a question.
I agree with that.
I do have a question. From your perspective, Brittany, how was it for you? Correct me if I'm wrong. You grew up with just your mother. So I was raised by my mom till about like 9, and then my grandma kind of took over. So when I was growing up, I thought my mom just didn't want to be around, but my grandma was really controlling and was basically like, I'm the mom now. So like she kicked my mom out, and my grandma was my caretaker, my grandma and grandpa. So
I think that's a story her mom told. I think her mom just didn't want to be bothered, and the grandmama took over because she had to. And then later the mom probably circled back and tried to say, well, your grandmama was just so controlling. I think Brittany Renner mama wanted to thought it up too. That's my assumption there. My assumption is that was a situation where she called the grandmama mama and the mama Pam. That was one of those situations. Then the grandmama died, and then the mama circled back and said, well, she ran me off. Like, no, you wanted to go. You popped out some babies, and you still wanted to thought it up, so you just left the kids with the grandmama. I think that's probably more closer to accurate of what happened there. January, man, I see what you're saying there. I kind of noticed that too, that she's not looking as hot as she used to. I think at this point she's she got to be in her early 30s now. Like, yeah, I mean she's at the age where, I mean, she's obviously still attractive, but she's at the age where just a lot of that facial, I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it, but it's you can just start to see it. It ain't a big deal. It ain't like, oh, she trash now. No, it just you might lose a point. No big deal. Oh, she 28. Oh, she ain't dark enough. She ain't dark enough. When they that damn like that age start showing. Said she's starting a Catwoman. Yeah, you see where I'm going with that. You saying that half white showing. It's that mayonnaise in her. The Mac Tracker quit fronting. Well, you You will marry her today. Cut it out. She's still good pump and dump material. Cut it out. Cut it out. You know, you would full blown relationship the hell out of that. Cut it out. Cut it out. We not playing around with that. I don't let y'all lie in my chat room. I do not let y'all sit here and lie in my chat room. Y'all know the deal. You still get with that. Side of me and chicken in the back in the building says, "Hello, Wall Meet Brittany is coming. It's an inevitable. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. With age, people get older. It's allowed, not against the law to get older. I'm just saying that I understand where you're coming from. That yeah, you're gonna start seeing more. You're just gonna start seeing more lines coming in. That's all. No big deal. No big deal. Still an attractive woman who say a lot of crazy shit on the internet. Nick Taylor in the building says, BR, why these chicken heads sitting up here acting like they won't fuck a dude that's sweating at the drop of a hat? They acting like they won't fuck a dude that they sweating at the drop of a hat. I bet everyone up there got at least 20. Yeah, I would say more. I would say more. It's really hard to try to pin down body count math in today's game, because I mean a chick could put up some hella numbers in just one summer. In one summer, 1 year, just take that summer in 2 girls trips. I mean, you saying she's 30? Somebody just said she's 28. So I don't know if she's 28 or 30. I don't know. Well, all I'm saying is the Mac Trucker is right. You can just see the early signs of facial lines and stuff. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
So my grandparents, the other half of my life.
Okay. How was that for you in terms of just learning how to be a woman whenever you reach that point?
I felt like a lot of their ideas were just really outdated. I felt like they were really strict and it was smothering. So even just going to a simple party or going to a friend's house,
that's why the mom ran away. That's why the mom ran away. She was raised by her grandparents. They was super strict, and she was bucking and rebelling against it. And the mom did the same thing. That's why she left you to be raised by him, because she didn't want to be under their shit either.
As an adult, do I see why maybe parents aren't so quick to let you go over to someone's house? Yes, but it was to a place where you couldn't even explore. I didn't really learn too much from my grandma about being a wife or how to be in a relationship, because I always felt like they just tolerated each other. I never really saw the love, like the bond. I've never really seen that. It's just always something I've known to be true, but I've never seen anybody do it.
Yeah.
Now, what she's doing right here, she's trying to shit on anything traditional right now. She's saying, oh, they weren't really in love, and she's basically saying that she's never been taught how to, basically be a wife or be a woman, even though if the grandparents, particularly the grandmama, was raising her strict. The only reason that a grandmother who's raising her granddaughter is raising her strict like that, because she's trying to make sure that she don't end up going in that opposite direction. So I'm sure somewhere in that strict raising, I'm pretty sure that it was some of that teaching going on or whatever. But what we're hearing here is that it was just in her. It was just baked into the cake that she was going to rebel. She was going to be a rebel from the start. That's basically what I'm hearing right there. She was raised in a structured environment, and then she bucked the system and fought. Then when she got old enough, she got out of there and did her own and did her damn thing. Basically the same thing that she more or less described that her mama did.
So I felt like my grandma was trying to get me to cook and do little stuff like that, but it just was never something.
See, she said that she wasn't, raised to be a wife, but that, like I said, in that strictness that the grandmother was implementing, she was trying to teach her. She was trying to teach her how to cook and clean and do all of that stuff. But I wasn't taught to. She's saying I wasn't taught to be a wife. Good question, January, man. Who taught her to be a thought? It's my argument that it was just in her. It was just in her. The natural, there's a percentage that is just in them. They could be raised right. They could do everything right. If the opportunity is there, they're going to go in that direction. They're going to go in that direction. And then what they try to do is try to post hoc rationalize it and try to say, well, I didn't see love with my grandparents and I didn't see this and I didn't see that. Yeah, you saw two people who was together and stayed together and, did their duty and did their job and raised the kids and even raised the damn grandkids. So you did. And apparently they was trying to teach her something. So that's my argument with some of them in this modern time is it's not even about some, well, were you raised to be a wife or this or that or blah blah blah. No, there's a percentage of them that's just naturally going to gravitate towards doing what they want to do when they want to do it and how they want to do it.
I really took an interest in. I'm like, I genuinely never felt like I belonged in the kitchen. And that's where too,
See?
I resented how my thought process a lot growing up, because I'm like, why can't I just be a little bit more simple, a little bit more obedient, maybe more agreeable, not have such a strong opinion, not be so introspective. That's just where I'm just different. So I feel like
Don't call being argumentative and combative introspective. Introspective people are quiet and they think. You are loud and normally she's actually well behaved on this show, but she's normally pretty damn aggressive and pushy with all of her introspective thoughts. So it is an interesting thing. This is something I never heard her actually talk about. Never actually heard her talk about this. See, we be looking at a lot of these women and just be thinking, oh, well, they were raised wrong. But no, she was raised right. It was just naturally in her to rebel. As long as the forbidden, the fruit from the forbidden tree, the forbidden fruit, long as it was there, it didn't matter how you raised. It didn't matter how you raised her. She was going to go take a bite. That's just what it is. And now she's post hoc rationalized the shitting on anything traditionalism. I mean, anything traditional, and trying to do what she can to try to normalize and rationalize the decisions that she made purely from for emotional or selfish or just I want what I want and want to do what I want to do and fuck whatever anybody else think. Like she make decisions. A lot of them, they make decisions from that perspective and then try to circle back and rationalize it. That's more or less what goes on there. And that's a hell of an observation too, Leo Anthony says she's way more aggressive with men, especially if she feels like they are judging her. Yeah, we don't know what happened in the main show, when Andrew Tate was there. She did allude to they kind of alluded to some of it, but I think for the most part she was cool and chill. She didn't go blow up the spot on Pearly Things shit like she do on a lot of other people's stuff.
My grandma tried to teach me maybe how to cook, but as far as catering to a man, no. I learned everything on the fly. And that's where I think sometimes maybe I get a little frustrated with the internet's perspective, because I'm like, you don't even know what I've had to go through to even be able to speak with this awareness. Like I've had to bump my head so many times to just be able to sit in my car and give you a sermon, So I just never felt like I really was prepared to be a wife ever. Genuinely.
And you're not alone. I think a lot of girls feel like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the stuff that we talk about on these podcasts would be so shocking if women weren't lied to for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, even talking to Andrew today, like, wasn't it helpful? Like, when he was talking about stuff, I was, even me, and I listen to this stuff all the time. I was like, oh, I never thought of that. Like, when he was talking about how to get a guy to stop playing video games, I was like, I wish I knew this. I was like, wow.
That's actually a good one when I think about it. Yeah. I want to try it.
Do you think that coming from a 2-parent home and it's like a loving environment that's for everybody, that it sets you up more for success to be able to operate in relationships or be willing to submit to whoever the man is because you've seen it growing up, or does it not have an effect?
I think that's a really great question. I know a lot of people who grew up in dual parent households and they saw their mother getting cheated on and staying. And I know like someone recently, they were.
You see, whenever she got to talk about a functioning relationship, she started talking about it like it was like a slavery horror story. Like she basically do regular, normal stable relationship, horror story cosplay. Like it's like it's like she gotta everything got to be Mr. and Silly. Everything got to be Mr. and Silly. Like that's pretty much what it is. It doesn't matter the scenario. It doesn't matter how it's set up. It's like, so a part of me is like this. To some degree, why even engage in some of these conversations? A part of me is like, to some degree, like if they're talking, if the topic is talking about relationships, if that's the topic, but she just on like the Amber Rose slut walk type stuff, then just own that and say that. But it's like they want to be on that, but they want to be respected, for relationships, but they're going to shit on it across the board to justify why they're not functioning in one. It's just like a weird. It's almost it's practically a mental illness at this point. It's like they it's like they want it, but they don't want it. But they talk about, the reasons why it can't happen. They talk about the reasons why it can't happen, and look at all this horror story, and look at that horror story. Oh, my grandmother was didn't love my grandfather, and all these relationships they're just horrible, and people are just suffering through it, and they're tolerating cheating, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and it's just so horrible and wonderful. Just basically just it's kind of easy to just say, I like being single and free and thotting it up. Like that's just you could just go there and just say that, and then like the conversation is pretty much over after that. The conversation is pretty much over after that. It ends up being a conversation when they try to scapegoat men, when they try to blame men for all of their decisions, and that's where channels like mine come in, where when they start trying to blame men for all their decisions and everything that they do, and how it's all men fault that they're doing what they're doing, that they're making the decisions that they're doing. That's where channels like mine come in. But if they just said, no, we just thotting it up because we thotting it up because we thotting it, then okay, what do you do with that? I got nothing to do with that, nothing to say with that. You're thotting it up and you're happy about it. You can't argue with a happy thought. You can't. Prince Revolver in the building says, you can learn to be a housewife just like you can learn to be a 304. Yeah, that's what I think January Man alluded to. She said she wasn't taught to be a housewife. Nobody taught you how. Your grandmother was actively trying to teach her not to be a hoe, and she turned out and she became whatever she became anyway. So to use I wasn't taught to be a wife excuse, no, just say that's what you gravitated to, that's what you like, that's what you enjoyed, and then the conversation is over. The difference is that no one holds you to a standard being a hoe. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. Hoop jargon in the building. She's just a contrarian, BR. It's endless evidence. Pretty much. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. And Sodomy and Chicken in the building said it seemed like her mom was a I didn't even think about that. Yeah, if her mom is white, yeah. Yeah, those white grandparents didn't want her mom running off with a black dude, with which she ran off. She got knocked up. She got knocked up by a black dude and just threw the half black baby on the white grandparents and dipped out. That's messed up. But that's what it looked like happened. Those are the unspoken words. But it seems like her mom was a night rider who kept thotting in the dark. The grandparents stepped in and tried to give her a traditional Anglo upbringing. Yeah, I mean that's legit. That's legit what it looked like. That's legit what it looked like. But it's my position that she just naturally gravitated to. I mean, anybody who the first time I ever saw her is when she went live or she posted something on Instagram in her car talking about all the athletes that she had raw sex with and how it would be so easy to trap one of them with a baby. And a year later, she wrote a book on it. She wrote a book about it, and then a year after that, I think she had a baby by an NBA player. And like I always say, before that baby was even old enough to lift its own head, she was up out the door. It's like, so it's like she set herself up. She made herself out to be a Batman villain, and now she don't want to be judged for it. She don't, or she, nobody when she gets into conversations, nobody's supposed to average all of that into the equation. That's the Amber Rose thing. That whole, what did she say to Jesse Lee Peterson, who I need to quit quoting, but it's like the beta that ain't going nowhere. And when he told Amber Rose, you sleep with a lot of men, that makes you a slut. And then she said, well, you sleep with a lot of women, what did that make you? And he said, a slut maker. That's classic forever. That's classic forever. But yeah, that's that's what they're fighting for. They don't want to be judged. She still wants some rich man to come swoop in and love her. And some of them will. Some of them will. It just is what it is. Too cool for school in the building with $20 super chat. It's been a while, just showing love. Peace. Absolutely, man. Do appreciate you coming back on through. Yeah, I haven't seen you. Yeah, that's right. I haven't seen you for a while, man. Where you been? Thank you for the $20 super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate you coming on through. Jackie Jack in here says just her new way to get attention, victimhood. Yeah, I think she's trumping up the victim narrative. I was talking to somebody, said I was going to do this show. Actually, that was Christian and Mike. I was talking to them last night in Detroit, and and they was telling me that she was doing all kind of stuff where she was making car videos. Where she got some recent crying in the car videos where it was just hard to even tell what the hell she was even crying about. I was going to play those, but I was like, nope, because it was just a ramble and a cry and some tears and some rambling, and I don't know. You can't even make out what the problem be. You can't even make out what the problem be a lot of times when they get to talking. Where we at?
Married for like 25 years or so, or 23 years, and she left basically when the kids were old enough to just, like, none of them were in high school anymore. And I remember when I was talking.
That ain't ideal, but that ain't a terrible thing, though. If two people get together, commit to each other, they stay married all the way up until the last kid is an adult. It's like they did their duty, they did their job. They did their duty for God and country, and they parted their ways. It's almost like ain't nothing horribly wrong with that. That's not a Tia Mowry situation where she still got like a 6-year-old and talking about she got a PhD in marriage and she graduated and then filed for a divorce. That's not that. If y'all done raise kids to adulthood, So that's a situation that I wouldn't need. That I don't even not. I actually know some. I know some people that did that. As soon as that last kid, was full grown and semi-functional, they parted ways.
Talking to her, she felt like she was setting her kids up for success because we're all under the same roof. They have a better chance of whatever, right?
All the data shows that works. All the data shows that works at a higher percentage rate. Everybody being under the same roof.
And it still was damaging because you are witnessing your mother tolerate disrespect
Mhm.
for security?
How did the kids know
How the kids know what?
that she was being cheated on?
It was something that this particular situation, I know one instance was like one of their family friends.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was really close to home stuff.
Mhm.
And there was another scenario where
It was one of the family friends they were cheating on, or was that told them?
no, it was that they were cheating with one of their
Okay.
family friends. So, like someone
so then-
we go over to her house all the
right,
time, but
so-
my dad is sleeping with her.
Oh, so they would see the parent cheat?
I'm not exactly. I don't think it was they physically saw it, but it was something that the mom would share. That they would hear arguments.
All right, I'm about to skip it here. That part got a little long-winded for me, but it was semi-interesting story. But I do want to skip it here to the last part of it. I want to play. This part is interesting as well. It really. Let's see. Make sure I get it at roughly the right part.
I see.
You gotta
Alright.
tell them.
But you know what I'm saying? Make it interesting. Make it a package. Make it be something where they can be involved in. Whereas a lot of the time we're just like, yeah, and this happened, and this happened. We just want to tell a story and not actually even have the input from someone else. And that's really
And I definitely agree with that for sure. Without
Yeah. Damn is saying mom is wrong for that. Ain't the kid's business to know that. Yeah, it ain't the kid's business. And Pearl asked her the right question, and then it just sounded like she was adding stuff to the story to to show how it was more obvious to the kids. But I don't think stuff like that is usually obvious to the kids. So I tend to believe, just reading between the lines, that things were done by the parents, by the parent who's being cheated on, to basically turn the kids against the cheating parent. Yeah, so I do think that's what it was. You pretty much with me. Yeah, I could smell the narrative, because that's a narrative that she's been clinging to. Like whenever anybody bring up anything that got anything to do with anything functional, she turns it into a horror story. So there's that. But John Doe in the building says, first she says her grandmother did. Yep, already know where you're going. First she says her grandmother didn't teach her how to be a wife. Then she admitted that she was taught how to be a wife, i.e. cooking, and rejected it. Make it make sense. Right. Yeah. The contradictions are in overabundance. That's why I said that she was raised traditional, but all the thoughting that she did it because she just wanted to do it. She naturally gravitated to it, and that just is what it is. It's some of them, as long as the possibility of thoughting it up is available, it don't matter how they raised, they're going to gravitate towards it. It just is what it is. It just is what it is. It's going to be a percentage no matter what. But shout out to you, John Doe. Appreciate you dropping the super chat and pointing that out. Do appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream in any way that you are supporting the stream. Let me double check, see if I am missing any cash apps, because I sometimes will mess around. Well, not that much. I'm normally on it. Let me double check right now while we live on the air to see if I do. Come on now. Got Plantation Wireless over here. My phone is not coming on with the come on. I did all of that. Oh, wait, no, I do got cash apps. I think at least one. My man Perry came through with a $5 cash app. Thank you for the cash app. Do appreciate that. Thank you for the cash app. Do appreciate that. All right. This is the last part of it that I want to show. I think we got an interesting comment here. Timothy Wooden says, Bernard, the pro-black are going to be upset with you for having Just Pearl on. So they was reaching. When she had that debate or whatever that was with Hafiz, and he was more so the problem because he was just trying to kick dirt on every other every other black male, or every other male content creator that does content, similar to, type of content that I do. Not that I didn't mean to word it like that, like I'm the head of this type of content. I'm just saying, but manosphere content. Let me just say, he basically tried to shit on all manosphere content, anything that's considered red pill. He basically tried to shit on it, so everybody came for him, and then the pro blacks tried to spin it as if we was just running to defense of a white woman. That's how they tried to spin it, and that was some bullshit. Yeah, it was some epically fake outrage. Jackie Jack says you will never be black enough for pro blacks anyways. Judge Dilla says that was Hafiz versus Hafiz, and he still lost. Yeah. All right, let's roll the last bit of this. Let's go.
No doubt. I think that's where, when we were talking about the concert stuff, right? Like if I'm telling you don't go, I have a feeling, whatever the reason, don't go. But we're saying that we want to have genuine, good, solid friendships with women. So again, taking some of that responsibility off of our man, confiding in women that we know would maybe care about the nail salon stuff. But then it's like, I don't know. I guess for me, it's like, so then if my friend wants to go out to a concert, I have to kind of like consider not going. But the emotional part that I don't get from you, I get from her. So I still have to have, in my mind, autonomy. Like I should still be able to challenge going to the concert, because this relationship helps our relationship stay afloat.
Brittany, would you?
What the hell? Okay. I don't know if I started at the right point, but they were basically, it's going to get interesting, but that was very word salady. But what essentially, yeah. Jamie, like, what the fuck? Somebody said wrong right there. It's basically saying the man don't want to hear all your problems and hear you talk and just talk his ear off. And, because when men are not emotional, you got to find female friends to go and have those type of conversations with, which is generally true. You do need to, have friends. If you just want to go just talk somebody ear off and just want somebody to just listen to you, go have your female friends do that shit. But then they started talking about, well, you with a man, and he's saying, hey, I don't want you going here. I don't want you going there. And then now she's trying to argue that, no, I need to go there because you don't want to listen to me. So my female friend, me being able to dump all my emotional stuff on her, I'm not going to dump it on you. So it's going to help our relationship for you to let me go out and thought it up with my friends. That was the argument.
Would you prefer a guy that you could trust his judgment? Like, can you think of a man like in your life at all that you like genuinely, if he told you not to do something, you would do it just because you respect him so much?
One person, maybe.
So it's like that type of respect. Like, I'll give you an example. My dad, I respect him so much. I do my accounting and I want to hire an accountant so bad. And I look at her. She knows how much I hate it. I bitch about it to everyone. Sorry, guys. I'll keep bitching. And I literally, because my dad says, you need to know your numbers, you need to do this. Like, I just do it because he says, and I don't want to do it. And it's like, that's the level of respect men want to have from us. It's like so much that even when you disagree, even when you don't want to do it, you just do it because you love them and you respect them. And it's someone that you trust so much, that they would never like abuse you.
Yeah.
Like that's the type of like relationship we aspire to have.
Yeah.
Is like because it has to be someone you trust.
Yeah. I feel like I have just never had that. So I think that's where the concert talk can get triggering, because you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, if I can't talk to you about the nail salon, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. I still need to have a life. I can't complete.
Thank you, Coach Steele, for reading my mind. Like, I love how going out with the girls always mean going places where they can meet other men. Actually, Donovan Sharp did something pretty good on this in one of his one one of his how to relationship videos, which those aren't bad. Those are, I mean, skits are always corny looking, but the point in it was actually good. Where a chick was talking, where this girl was playing the role of a girl trying to go out with the friends. She's trying to go hang out with the friends. Well, no, we just want to hang out and drink and talk. He's like, oh, you can hang out and drink and talk at your friend's house. Well, it's boring there. We want to go there and be at the club and the nice music and the atmosphere, and we want to dance. You want to dance with other guys? No, we don't want to dance with other guys. We just want to dance and just drink and just have some fun and great music and good drinks and that. And he was like, okay, cool. You can just go to the gay club. They got the same drinks, they got the same music, they got the same dance floor. And you and your friends can just go and dance and party and have some drinks and have a good time. Right? Same thing, right? Well, no, that's not the same. What's the difference? The difference is it's not dudes there offering them dick. That's the difference. That's the difference. That is the difference. They we're girlfriends and we need to talk always has to be a conversation that takes place where dudes are there hitting on them. And when she's saying that, I haven't really met a dude, she said it was like one, but she's basically saying she haven't really met a dude that she want to listen to like that. Go back to her Marvel origin story with her grandparents trying to raise her to be a decent lady, and she rebelled against that. And now she's talking about in a relationship, even with a decent man, she's figuring out different ways to rebel. It's almost like just say that you're rebellious and you want to do what you want and you don't give a damn and you're gonna thought it up and it is what it is, and fuck it. Like that's really the argument. That's really the argument. The Mac the Trucker, man. You like, come on, man. You Donovan was too corny. Donovan was too corny. And Devin, yikes. Yeah, come on, man. You part of the hater sphere. You go to the club for attention. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Completely trust in your judgment because I can't completely trust you. Like, yeah, I do not have a man in my life, or really ever really have. When I said maybe to one, but even then, so if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no, right? So it's like I've never had a guy where I feel like, yeah, if he says don't go, I'm not going.
But
that's what is where I'm working on myself to where I can manifest someone like that, because clearly, like there's something inside of me that's attracting these type of men to where it's like I need to correct something in here.
Well, and it's making the men of the future pay for the mistakes of your past.
Yeah,
that was funny.
The concert talk can get triggering because you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, if I can't talk to you about the nail salon, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. I still need to have a life. I can't completely trust in your judgment because I can't completely trust you.
Link is in the chat. Link is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, yeah, I do not have a man in my life, or really ever really have. When I said maybe to one, but even then, so if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no, right? So it's like I've never had a guy where I feel like, yeah, if he says don't go, I'm not going.
But
that's what is where I'm working on myself to where I can manifest someone like that, because clearly, like there's some.
So she said she never had a guy to where she say, nah, you can't go there, I'm not going there. But it's basically what she wants is a successful, rich yes man to commit to her, not cheat on her, but let her do whatever the fuck she wants. That's essentially what she's looking for, a high value simp. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. A dude with money and no backbone. a a blue pill alpha. I don't know. I'm forgetting all the terms, but she's looking for something along those lines.
Something inside of me that's attracting these type of men to where it's like, I need to correct something in here.
Well, and it's making the men of the future pay for the mistakes.
Yeah, and I think that's a bunch of nonsense as well, saying it's something inside of her that's attract. She wants Russell Wilson. Yeah, perhaps saying it's something inside of her that's attracting all of these men. I view that as nonsense. The men that she attract.
That's not nonsense.
What'd you say?
That's not nonsense. She does have something inside of her that that attracts the wrong kind of man. It's called the vagina, and it attracts all kind of men.
Well, no, there is no wrong kind of man. In put it like this: if the men that she can attract are high performing, successful men, and many of them, a good percentage of them, willing to commit to her, but this isn't the type of man that I feel that I could listen to. What she's really saying is, I don't want to listen to anybody. So it's not a matter of there's something in me that's attracting men that I can't listen to. She's basically just saying, I ain't listening to nobody. I just got to attract a successful, good-looking athlete who don't give a fuck and let me do what I want to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's attract. What I was saying with the vagina thing was that she's attracting all men, and she's filtering out a certain type of men. But I mean, you're right. She is also trying to say that the men that she winds up with are innately bad, and the reason why she finds herself in the situations that she do is because they're bad. But no, it's because she's a gold digging tramp.
Yeah. Lord, shout out to Mr. Negative Man. Yeah, that was a ridiculous statement, that talking to friends at the concert. But yeah. Lord Juno says, y'all leave Russell alone. Homeboy hasn't had a good year this year, period. I called it. I wouldn't be in a hater, wouldn't pocket watching, but I just know enough about football to know that a 5'11" quarterback in his early to mid 30s signing a 5-year contract for worth that much money was a bad deal for the Broncos. Great deal for Russell Wilson, because he gonna rack up. He just gonna collect all that money. He ain't even gonna be the starting quarterback at the end of that money. So yeah, but anyway, back into it. So I take it you've been listening for a little while here. That was pretty much the gist of it, the end of it, because it wasn't nearly as much fireworks as I would have thought. She came in kind of well behaved, saying stupid stuff that you had to decode. She didn't come in hot, ready to, it's almost like she was not trying to, actually debate Pearly on it. She just wanted to get her opinion out there, and then when Pearly would say something, is like she would kind of like not respond. She wouldn't do it like we've seen her do. We've seen her get all clapping and shit at men, but she was laid back. She was laid back and cool. But overall, what you been listening to? What's your overall general take on it?
Well, in feminist circles, it is understood that you're not supposed to, that there is a certain amount of base level respect that you're supposed to have towards women. If you snap and pop it's at men, it's okay because they're men, they're grapers, they're patriarchy, they're misogynists, so they deserve it. They deserve disrespect. But if you disrespect a woman, it's a whole different ball game, is the way that she definitely is brought up. And when I say brought up, not necessarily by her parents. A lot of women are brought up by the streets. Basically, whatever the propaganda machine is generating, they become a byproduct of that. And right now, for quite some time, it has been promoting this Sex in the City style life that she is now promoting. She feels that even in a relationship, she should live like the women in Sex in the City, just like the women in Sex in the City lived like that, even when they were in a relationship. Really isn't a reason that single women should be that women in relationships should be at a singles club or a singles bar or a singles event of any type. There really isn't any reason for that. but they do that because one, they want the attention. That's a thing. But two, because the women on TV do it. That's another reason. And three, they still want to connect with their single friends.
Now, what do you think about this? Now, this part was actually a surprise because, like I said, I don't research her. I ain't never heard nothing about her, upbringing or nothing. Like I said, I just know she went viral with some skanky ass video where she was talking about how many professional athletes she's had raw sex with, and she wrote a book about it. And then she basically tried to do a superhead routine or whatever. So that's the extent that we know about her. And then eventually she, had a conversation with Kevin Samuels in Fresh and Fit. And that's the extent that I understand who Brittany Renner is. She's just, Captain Queen Thought. So interesting, when she started giving her Marvel origin story, she had a traditional upbringing raised by her old school traditional grandparents who actually attempted to raise her right. But she apparently naturally gravitated to thottery.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, society is set up for women like her to gravitate towards that. You see, clubs don't make money without women like her. Society don't make money without women like her, because men aren't out spending money on peacocking jewelry and things like that in order just to please her. Like, imagine if I don't know who the guy was it PJ Washington or something? What's their baby daddy name?
Yeah, that's you got it.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine if PJ Washington married a traditional woman who actually cooks and cleans and don't need red bottoms to do these things. Well, who's going to buy the stuff? Who's going to buy all of the Italian leather crap in the world? If women like that existed, if money went to save and prepare for a child's future, who's going to buy all this stuff that Brittany Renner buys in a year? Think about how much she spends on luxury goods in a year that she wouldn't do if she was under a different mentality, to where she didn't feel a need for those luxury goods. Right now, society is teaching young ladies to seek luxury goods. Quality of life is determined by the amount of luxury goods you receive. And get those goods by any means necessary. That is what society is telling young ladies to do. And of course, her grandparents told her to do something different, and we see which one she chose. But it was a choice. She just chose the latter because somebody told her that stuff is more important than family. That Italian, and I this isn't me just shitting on the Italians. I'm just saying that that's where a lot of luxury goods come from. Well, that's where a lot of luxury goods come from. Things that don't hold value past the fact that an Italian person said that it's valuable. Like, are Ferraris durable or something like that? No, they're pretty much just because it's a Ferrari. Why do you want a Ferrari? It's a Ferrari. So it's that thinking that they're really pushing into young ladies. And unfortunately, that for her, that teaching, that foundation was stronger than her parents' upbringing. And for far too many young women, that's why modern women are modern women. I think that was the case with her mama too, to be perfectly honest.
Oh yeah, that was a look. That was clearly what the hell was going on there when she tried to say that she thought the mom, she grew up thinking her mom didn't want nothing to do with her, but then she said she found out later that no, the grandmother was just controlling and ran the mother away or something like that. The grandmother can't run a mother away from the kids. That ain't how it worked. The mom could pull a rank and just take the damn kids. Mm-hmm. No, the mom wanted to go out thotting it up as well, and threw the kids on the grandmama. That's what happened.
Yeah,
and yeah. So she grew up. I remember Chris Rock made that joke. He said if a kid grow up calling the grandmama mama and the mama Pam, that boy going to jail. It's like, and so the female equivalent of that, if you grow up calling the grandmama mama and the mama Pam, you probably gonna be thotting it up pretty damn bad. and that's more or less what it was, because the mama was starting it up pretty damn bad. Like I say, it didn't matter what them grandparents did. It was in her. It was in her. That shit was to the down to the blood and the bone. Like it was in her. It was going nowhere. It was
Well,
going
yeah.
nowhere.
I mean, it's in most people. Unfortunately, it is in a child's nature to look at their parents or the authority figure in their lives as oppressive. And why don't they just let me do dot dot dot? It is, it is natural for them to do that. It's not natural for you to do that at 30, unless you're pretty stupid, which she is. So, that's pretty much why she's kind of stuck in that. Oh, my grandma was oppressive because she told mama to eat vegetables. Like, well, it's parents do that and kids aren't to like it, but that doesn't mean that she's oppressive because she didn't allow her daughter to behave in a way that is destructive to her life. She don't really see it as destructive to her life. So she's still stuck in that phase, and she's going to be stuck in that phase indefinitely. The only thing that will change is the amount of enjoyment that she gets from that and the amount of success that she can get from that. Like, there will come a time where she's going to get less Italian crap.
You just really got an issue with the Italians. You just
No, well, I'm just saying, I use that because they make a lot of luxury goods that women gravitate towards, like Louis Vuitton, and I don't know all the brands out there, but I'm pretty sure that they're Italian.
yeah. All right, we are joined by John Doe in the building.
Greetings, gentlemen.
Greetings. What's up? What you got?
Well, I think Brittany Renner is a case study on the condition, basically where most modern women think nowadays, and what most men need to look out for. She said a lot of nothing, but there was some context clues within the nothing that she said. She brought up the fact that she was brought up in a traditional house, but she said there was no love, and she tried to basically downplay the traditional teaching that she was getting because it didn't meet her ideology. Like you said, deep down inside, being that I think it's easier to go to the dark side than it is to go to the light for anybody. It's so much more easier to do the wrong thing than the right thing. And the traditional thing, the man to provide and to protect, and the woman to cook and clean and all that. I feel like the modern society is bucking against that because it requires too much work. And we've become a very lazy society where it's very microwave. We want what we want, how we want it, when we want it. So a lot of our women are pushing back on that tradition because it's way too much work. A lot of them are selfish. They don't really want to be wives. They don't really want to be mothers. They really just want the accolades that come along with being a wife or being a mother, but they don't want any other responsibilities. And in certain cases, some men are guilty of that as well, because a lot of us have become lazy. Some of us are homosexuals. Some of us are cool with that 50-50 crap because we know that being the actual provider and protector is way too much work, and we don't want none of that. The dark-skinned young lady that was sitting like to the far end of the couch, I came in like halfway in, and she was saying like a lot of stuff about like why. Oh, well, when Brittany does it, she's a whore, and if Andrew Tate does it, he's not. It's because we're not the same. We need to get rid of this equality crap of trying to say that men and women are the same. We're not the same, not even remotely the same. And we all have double standards, and those double standards are in place for a reason. I was on Facebook yesterday. One of my old coworkers put up a old Kevin Samuels post where he was highlighting a young lady who had a 58 body count. And she was saying how she would be honest about that 58 body count. Shout out to her, because most women won't do that. And she would constantly get rejected by the men she liked because she was honest about being with 58 men prior. The gentleman in question was saying, oh, he hates this double standard, and why do we do that? It's like, don't cape for them. Like, stop it. That double standard exists for a reason, because we are inserting them. They're being inserted. It's not the same. Those body counts carry demons. Those body counts carry a lot of the stuff that Brittany Renner was talking about. She said she never met a man that she truly trusted to where she would just go along with his judgment. And that's what a husband is supposed to be to a wife. Now, she's not even realizing what she's saying. She's basically saying that the reason why she's not suitable for marriage is because she can't fully entrust herself to a man. But she doesn't even highlight that because in her mind, the men who are out here who are not trustworthy, and she's not even doing the proper work. Now, she did say that it's something within her that's attracting those men, and I actually agree with that. I agree. I feel like you are what you attract, and if you attract shit, you are shit. Like point blank. That goes for
I
men and women.
disagree with that. Hold on, the subtle disagreement I have with that, it's not that you necessarily are what you attract. You are what you allow to stay around you. You know, a hot woman, she gonna attract everything. Really, I mean, if you carrying yourself a certain way, then yeah, a certain type of dude is more likely to get at you if you carrying yourself a certain way. But no, a lot of women, you know, they pulling in everything, but it's up here. Would they make a conscious decision to let stay around? I put it more on there than just, you know, like some universal laws of attraction, and you know, that's, you know, I don't do that as much. But overall, yeah,
all right,
either way, just small difference. Small difference.
Yeah, I agree with that because, you know, we take a woman like Brittany Renner. Like, let's be honest, she's a very physically attractive woman. She has a pretty face. She got a nice fit body. She light skinned. We know that's also popular in our community. She stripped naked in front of the most virtuous men. He gonna have a hard time saying no to that.
Yeah,
like
yeah, no
let's
doubt.
be honest. But
and he's gonna have a hard time saying yes to it. Yeah. Well, hard time because he's in it. Hard time. Get it?
Yeah. Oh, I get it. My bad, Keisha. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's just the dynamic between men and women. Like we focus too much on this equality and worrying about double standards. These double standards exist for a reason. Now, the women could complain about, oh, if I sleep with XYZ, I'm a hoe. You shouldn't worry about my past. This is what they say. Now, I contrast it with this. Okay, the past don't matter, right? I shouldn't worry about what's in your past. So if you get with a dude and you find out that in his past, he been with a man, you cool with that? No. You know why? Because it's a double standard that most men don't judge women off the fact that they've had an LGBTQ experience, but women damn sure judge us for that. And not that we asking for that level of equality. I just bring that up to say that that's a double standard that women enjoy, that they will never push back on. They only push back on the double standards that we enjoy, that they want to enjoy. They want equality on their level. They want equality in the things that they see as an advantage to us. They want to maintain their advantages, but they don't want any of their own disadvantages, and they don't want any of our disadvantages. They trying to be Blade out here. They trying to be daywalkers. It don't work like that. It don't. It doesn't.
No, good stuff. Shout out to, he says, hey Bernard, hearing you from the beginning. I tune in late. Oh yeah, shout out to the people that tune in late. Shout out to the people that actually, no, he can't even hear me right now. He posting in the live chat, but he listening to it way back there, so he might not even make it this far. but yeah, that's pretty much my take on this. I was slightly disappointed that, you know, I did want more back and forth debate. She was unusually quiet. And like I said, part of that on coldness. She ain't gonna blow up the spot on a chick's channel, but it is more videos coming where Andrew Tate was on there. But I kind of get the feeling that she was probably even quiet then. But
it might be dependent on who she's dealing with, because if you saw the interviews she did with Anton Daniels, she wasn't coming for his neck either.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he was, you know, just on, you know, interview mode. I don't think he tried to debate her. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch
the full thing. I saw some clips. It was certain points where he pushed back on her talking points, but he did kind of give her the grace of just saying what was on her mind so that he could, I guess, get the best reaction out of her.
Yeah, when you say get the best reaction out of her.
Yeah, like he would push back on certain things that were just completely egregious, but he wasn't like he wasn't like laying it on thick. I don't think.
Yeah, but you would say that she wasn't laying it on particularly thick when she was talking to him, though, either, though, was she?
It was one thing she said. I don't remember what it was, but it was one thing she said that I expected him to react a little different to. But I don't know. It's just whole logic. It's everything is everybody else's fault. Like it just stop. Like just stop. Like, Brittany Renner is a prime example of why men need to get they stuff together. Because if you look at her face value, now we know who Brittany Renner is. Like her name is out there, ring bells.
Hold on, let me address some stupid. When you say these simps are making Pearl popular, are you talking about her 800,000 subs? Or are you talking about me for doing a reaction video? I never heard of her. She had 500,000-600,000 subs. So I'm just trying to figure out who the hell you're talking about. Go ahead and clarify that one. But all right, go ahead.
Yeah, Brittany Renner, she lets it be known who she is, but that's because she's a public figure and she's unapologetic, and that type of behavior is very, very popular right now. But think about it like this: as pretty as she is, she doesn't wear overly revealing clothes. Every now and then you'll see her with a colorful weave, but that's every now and then. She don't really do the lashes. She don't do heavy makeup. She actually looks like the Susie homemaker that most of us claim that we want. And you'll get caught up in that until you find out, most likely when it's too late. And I'm talking about Brittany Renner if she were a run-of-the-mill chick walking these streets, because a lot of women are operating in the same energy as Brittany Renner. They look good, they look conservative, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all the glitters is gold.
Yeah, I never probably because I got the image, the you know the sights and sounds of the things that you say in my head. I never looked at her as some decent.
No, I know that, but I'm saying,
yeah.
like, think about it like this. Think about it like the woman walking down the street that doesn't have the notoriety she has. It doesn't have the you know what I'm saying, that doesn't have the Facebook or the Instagram following. Like, if she was just a woman walking down the street that you don't know, she's not Brittany Renner, but she fits the Brittany Renner prototype. Because a lot of times we can be weak, and we weak for the flesh. I've been guilty of this. We all guilty of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a such thing as chicks that's that hot, but they don't, they don't present like her or talk like her. So I mean, ain't nothing wrong with with acknowledging that or gravitating towards that. But I mean, with Brittany Renner, I mean, you should be able to see that coming a mile away. Let's just say you in position to pull her. You got PJ Washington money, like that dude's a goddamn idiot because he got another IG model pregnant. It's like he's stupid.
But PJ Washington is a representation of a lot of brothers out here too. A lot of them are stupid. A lot of them just see somebody pretty and they all up in it. It's all up in it. They're not thinking twice. They're not thinking for the future. They just in it raw. Nothing inside of them. Not even being precautious or anything. They outnumber us. They outnumber us. I'm sorry, like they do.
No, I don't think they outnumber us. I think they louder and wreak more havoc because a dude doing what he's supposed to do ain't gonna make a lot of noise.
That's true.
Ain't gonna cause that many problems. But I don't think that's the majority. But just when I look at somebody like PJ Washington, I just think that's a special kind of stupid. That's a special kind of stupid where you got that much to lose and you not just smashing an IG model here and there. I'm not knocking that at all. But he had her name tatted on his wrist, like.
But the reason for that,
like a month in.
I think the reason for stuff like that is that maybe they don't outnumber us, but think about it like this. Like Kevin Samuels always said, he always talked about the high value man, and even though he didn't make that phrase up, it was a book first by some Asian guy, but he's the person who made it popular.
Right.
And after he passed away, even when he was alive, a lot of people were trying to butcher his 5 points of what made a high value man, and he will always combat that. But now that he's not here, people are just taking that title and running with it. One thing he said about the high value man is that the high value man accumulates his wealth over a span of time, usually 3 to 5 years. And what comes with that 3 to 5 years is a certain level of discipline. He had to be able to manage his money. He had to be able to work for that money. So once he gets to a certain status, his level of appreciation is completely different. Not to mention that he had to roll in certain circles to make that money. So he has a certain level of discipline and he has a certain level of class about him. This is why Kevin Samuels didn't include athletes and rappers and people of that ilk in
Right.
the high value conversation, because these are niggas from the streets who got their money fast, who have no financial they have a financial responsibility, but they have no financial literacy. They don't know what to do with it. They went from being nobody to somebody. They on TV, they getting all this recognition, they getting all this money, and they don't know what to do with it. First thing they do is blow it on some cars, blow it on some jewelry, and blow it on some hoes. The only appreciating value that they actually blow it on is a house, which is usually for their mama.
Oh,
Well,
yep.
I don't really know much about PJ Washington, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second and ask, is he stupid or does he just not know? Is he ignorant, in a sense, to where and you got to think about it from his point of view. I don't think that he has much choice in the matter. So
What do
think
you mean by
about it. Okay, think about it. Because it's a cultural problem here in the West, I think that not many homemakers exist, and like Brittany Renner. And then there's the ones that just pretend to be homemakers. When you are rich, you have people who are out trying to scam you all the time. And you said yourself that she looks like, she looks like the girl next door. She looks like the homemaker type. So of course she used that on him. She's like, hey, look at me, no kids, pretty, no kids. I look like a homemaker, don't I? I mean, he just fell for it. I mean, I think that he's out there looking for an Aisha Curry in a population that doesn't really, in a world population that produces very few Aisha Currys.
I would damn near sort of halfway go with that if she didn't go viral for that video about how many athletes she smashed and then wrote a book.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that part of it.
Yeah, Aisha Curry, her claws are starting to come out.
He fucking after he got done messing with Brittany Renner, he went right to another one, went right to another IG chick and fell in love like that and had her name tatted on him. It's like, and got her pregnant.
Oh no, I didn't know all that. Keep in mind, I don't really follow basketball. So.
Right. Yeah, no, he's a special kind of stupid. He's a special kind of stupid.
So
I remember we was having this discussion before. I don't even know if you remember, where you was just basically you were going through the motions of saying that it's and again, we talk about people being red pill or blue pill. There's a such thing as a dude just being blue pill and just stupidly thinking that yes, what men wanted in the past, I can just go and get that like that. Just gotta pick a chick and it'll work out because I'm a man and I make good money and I'm successful and of course you're gonna like me, But so there's a such thing as a guy actually believing that believing in that lie and not even understanding what he's up against. It's a such thing as that. But I can't even go there with PJ Washington. He's something. He's something different. He's something different. I can't explain that. It's like he just coming off like one of them dudes. He get pussy from a chick one time and he ready to get married.
Yeah, he put his cape on.
Yeah.
And she was older, because somebody in the chat just pointed that out. I've been saying it for years. Younger men should mess with older women, and older men should mess with younger women for different reasons. That young man should be focused on his purpose. If you want to go get a nut, have a good time, go have it with that older woman, but don't take her seriously. The difference with the older man and the younger woman is that if she got the right mindset and he's the right leader, they can actually build something.
Yeah, no doubt. But all right, I think we about to wrap this on up. We at the 2-hour mark. I ain't trying to be in here for I ain't trying to be in here for no goddamn shit. Why can't I pull that up?
I feel you, gentlemen. It's been a great conversation.
I ain't trying to be in here for 3 hours. Oh yeah, no doubt. Thanks for coming on up, John Doe. Yeah, John. I can't see your name, but yeah, John Doe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Glad you came on through. Stopped on by, but
no problem. Anytime.
Peace. But as I get ready to get up out of here, I am trying to find something. Don't leave yet. Y'all can do me a solid and go check out my my latest pre-record that I dropped. There it is, right there. It's in the chat room, right there. Go ahead and check that one on out. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Let that one be your exit on the way out the door. Let that one be your exit on the way out the door. Go ahead and check that one out. Give it a view. Give it a like. Watch it to the end. It helps with the algo. So shout out to. Oh, damn it, Game Changer. I shared your last live stream just because you my boy. I shared your live stream. I just saw the title and the title looked interesting, and I shared it. I did not know you was going to be talking that much shit about who you was talking that much shit about.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting there like I was watching the beginning and then I stopped watching and I checked back in later and I saw what was going on and I was like, oh. I was like, I got my name attached to this. That shit was funny.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's on members only now, so check it out. I'm a member and stuff. Yeah, I didn't know that you shared it, or else I would have kept it out a little bit longer.
Oh
But no, I mean, it had to be said because what we have going on right now is we have a society, we have a group of women out there who are proudly saying that, I'm fat, I'm ugly, and I'm not fit, feminine, and friendly, but I was able to get married. And they're using themselves as a template to younger women. Like it's okay, to be whatever you want to be, and somebody will come up. Now they're not going to say some simp, but they will say somebody will marry you anyway. And it's a marketing strategy that modern Black women have taken to use, and that is if you flood the market with an inferior product, then the men will be forced to buy that inferior product. Basically, if Flint water or if swamp water was the only water out there, then people would be forced to drink it. Now, this doesn't really work in a open market where a person can go to another place and get a better product. So what they do is they attempt to stifle a man's ability to go to a different market so they can continue to isolate you and sell you this shitty product. Keep in mind that the person in question boldly said that, listen, I'm fat, I'm this, and this, and I was still able to pull one. That's like saying, listen, I was able to sell a person swamp water, so you do not have to purify your water, is essentially what is being said. Yeah, exactly. Sodomy and Chicken got it right. It's like saying buy American. It's like, yes, I will buy American Cadillacs. However, the old Dodge that Al Bundy drove, I'm not going to buy that. Of course, Al Bundy bought it, but I'm not him. And there are fewer and fewer people who are behaving that way. So, in teaching men to be more prudent consumers, Black men in particular, do not make your choice based solely on race loyalty, because how loyal to you are they if they're fat? They refuse to give you the best of themselves. So why are you offering the best of themselves, of yourself, for the worst of them? Don't do that, fellas.
All right, yeah. Like I was just saying, I shared that shit and then came in late and was like, whoa.
Yeah,
it was fucking funny. But yeah, I guess I'm glad you made it members only. That shit, you be wilding. But yeah, but like I said, everybody, yeah, check out my pre-record that I dropped earlier today. I think YouTube played me. It had a green light and then they made it yellow right after I hit publish. They be on some bull. But anyway, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.